What's up guys, my name's Dean, or as most of you know me, Twisty, and today we are going to be talking about, it's rainy here at the MCG for a top of the table clash. I don't even know if it's top of the table, but it's Richmond and the Dogs, and we're going to be talking about, I wonder if Daniel Riolo is going to be my captain, but we're going to be talking about round 23 and the celebration of football weekend over the bye weekend. So we're going to get into sort of the things that are happening on that weekend, and then we're also going to talk about the marquee players for the Women's League, because that got announced. Sammy Lloyd is my captain this week. Interesting to get a new captain every week to do the toss. To do the toss of the coin. So let's first off start with round 23 and the fixture that is round 23. So we begin with Friday night, August 26th, on round 23, of course. And this is Adelaide and the West Coast Eagles. This will be a huge match, and it pretty much sets up the entire weekend as to, how this match pans out will then determine sort of how the rest of the weekend may go. Captain Sammy Lloyd here just strolls in and kicks our opening goal. Beautiful stuff. But yeah, like that then sets up the remainder of the weekend of, how are these teams going to go? Because that'll pretty much solidify, or it might not even solidify spots, it'll set the benchmark of where everyone needs to be. That'll be the final before the finals. And then there's also another top 8 v top 8 clash in that week, or maybe not top 8 v top 8 if St Kilda get a jump in, which is North Melbourne and the Giants, which is also a critical game. But we won't know until the Sunday whether or not where everything sits, because what we've got is on Saturday we've got Geelong and Melbourne. So you think that is a critical contest for Geelong. That is, can Geelong stay inside the top 4 or get their way into the top 4 in that match? And Melbourne would want to finish this season strongly, so they'd definitely be going all out to get a victory in that one. But then we've got, on Saturday afternoon, we've also got Essendon Carlton, just a traditional match, no finals implications there. Sydney and Richmond, that's a critical game for the Swans, who generally don't play too well against the Tigers, but they're playing at the SCG on Twilight on that round 23, so they should be able to hold up a top 4 spot, potentially a top 2 spot if they get the win there. But just you can't afford to lose these games because they are just so critical to your finals hope, or not your finals, your finals hopes, and you're right at the flag. Then you got the next one, which is North Melbourne GWS Saturday night. This is going to be a cracking game. Outstanding. If the Giants win, they could sew up a top 2 or a top 4 spot, but if North Melbourne win, they could solidify a spot inside the top 8. But we obviously don't know these things for another couple of rounds to come, so it's all still up in the air a little bit. And just bear in mind, I'm filming this before St Kilda and North Melbourne, so that would have already happened on the weekend, so I don't know the result of that. I'm assuming St Kilda are going to win and keep their finals chances alive, just so take that into consideration here. And then we've got, on Sunday, you've got St Kilda and Brisbane, so this is now, if St Kilda did beat North Melbourne, which I'm hoping they did, if they did beat North Melbourne, then they would have, this would be their elimination final match. Win a game, you're in the finals. Lose, and you're probably, not quite there yet. I'm actually losing this game, but that's a nice boo-na-na-na-na-na-na from Ben Leonard. And then you've got Fremantle, the Western Bulldogs at Domain, so a on the road game for the Dogs going into the finals. Not ideal, but Fremantle are probably going to be a decentish side, or a competitive side come round 23, so you just hope that they can get that job done, the Dogs. But you never know, because it might be Pavlich's last game, if he hasn't retired before end of season, and then it will just be, in the back. It'll be up in the air as to, whether or not the Dogs get a home elimination final, or an away elimination final. They could finish 7th or 8th. You never know with all these injuries, but you think they'd sort of keep going And then you've got Hawthorn and Collingwood at the MCG, and you think Hawthorn would pretty much have first place sewn up before that, so that won't really make too much of an impact on the ladder. So that's round 23 covered in that opening quarter. Now let's cover the week after, which is the celebration of football. Now, bang. Ooh. Ooh. Dustin Martin. So this is now pre-finals weekend. This is the weekend before the finals. This is how it's going to go down. Wednesday, August 21st. The AFL launches, or August 31st, sorry. The AFL launches the final series, but we already know the fixtures and whatever before then anyway. Then we take a look at Thursday, September 1, which would be the Thursday night. Still the week. This is still the week before the final series begins. And this is when the All-Australian team gets announced. So, All-Australian team will be announced September 1st on Thursday night. That'll be live on Fox Footy. If you haven't seen an All-Australian thing before, they're kind of boring, to be perfectly honest. While people deliberate or sort of, explain their choices for who is in what positions and why they're in that position. Then you've got the Friday night, which is the E.J. Whitten Legends game at Etihad Stadium at 7:50 p.m. I don't know where that's going to be broadcast. I think it's just going to be broadcast on Channel 7. Not sure about Fox Footy with that. And that'll be interesting because I want to know who's going to commentate that, because obviously Richo's going to be playing. Jonathan Brown is going to be captaining the Big V. Richo's going to be captaining the All-Stars. And then you've got, if BT commentates that one, normally it's, Gary Lyon and James Brayshaw for Channel 9 normally do a bit of commentary on there. But I'd like to see a little bit of BT commentary action for the E.J. Whitten Legends game, because he's just a bit of a... He likes to get up and about, Brian. Big Brian. It's all about Big Brian. So, pass. Dusty through the pack. Edwards, McBean, goal. Yeah, just really, really easy stuff for, get around him. Oh, wait, I kicked a goal and they didn't pay it. So that's the Legends game then on Friday, September 2nd. Then we've got the weekend before the finals on the Saturday. You've got the State League finals. So I think it's TAC Cup, unless it's like first round of VFL, Sandford, Waffle and NEFL finals. I think that could actually mean what that is. And then you've also got the women's exhibition match at Whitten Oval, which is the Dogs v Melbourne, and that's going to be at 7:10. But before that, there's actually going to be a curtain raiser for the under-18 girls in their sort of what is it, like kind of like not a state of origin championship, but more of a sort of all-stars match. So an all-stars match. So it'll be the best of the best taking on the best of the best in the youth girls there, which I believe is the under-18s. That just makes sense, right? And then what else? Bang, get out of there, free kick. Ugh. And then on Tuesday, the week after, so 3 days after that, so there's nothing on the Sunday, that bye round weekend. On the Tuesdays when the Rising Star will be announced, and that is going to be, pretty good. Yeah, and then the Rising Star is announced on the Tuesday. So that will then conclude the AFL's, what did they call it? Celebration of football weekend over that by pre-finals. I tackle? No? Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much what I can gather from it anyway. And just, yeah, it's going to be an interesting weekend. I'm hoping to go to both games on the Friday and the Saturday, the E.J. Whitten game and the women's football game. I think they'll both be quite entertaining to watch. It's almost as much entertaining as that one. But let's get on with this game now. It's going to be half-time. We got a 20 or 33-point lead after kicking 5 goals, 3 to no score in that quarter. So we've done nicely. Well done, Tigers. And it's half-time. We'll talk a little about the Women's League in the third term. So recently we've also got the marquee players announced for the Women's League. So there's going to be there was two marquee players given to all of the 8 clubs. They were able to select, I think it was 5, and then they would be given 2 of those. But it was pretty obvious like who was going to end up where anyway. Like you knew Daisy Pearce was going to end up in Melbourne, Taylor Harris at Brisbane, Katie Brennan at the Dogs. So let's just go through them in alphabetical order. The Adelaide Crows, they got Kelly Gibson. She's 20. She's a forward, and she's from WA, but she'll be playing for Adelaide NT. I know they have NT in their name. I don't know whether that means they're like Northern Territory as well, Adelaide. But that's an interesting sort of thing, isn't it? And so those marquee players, I think, get 25,000 per season, as well as what else do they get? They get something. They get an extra 10,000 if they have to relocate from a different state to play football. So that's Kelly Gibson. So she'll be playing in the forward line there, and then you've also got Chelsea Randall, who's another forward, who will be playing for the Adelaide Crows. She's 25 though, so she's a little bit older than Kelly Gibson there. Then we go on to Brisbane. They've got Sabrina Frederick Chaub, who is 20. She's a full forward, so she's key position, I would think, because there was a few key position players, but I think she's probably one of the biggest. And they've got huge forwards, don't they, Brisbane? So they've got her, who's 20, and then they also recruited Taylor Harris, who is forward ruck, and she's mostly a forward though, pretty much a key position player, and she's very, very talented. I would not want to mess with her if you were the fullback. So there's a lot of forwards picked up in this thing. So she played with the Brisbane Academy team as well back this year, and she played for Melbourne the last couple of years as well. But they're both very, very talented. It's going to be good up there in the Lions. Then you got Carlton. They picked up Brianna Davey, who's a defender and a midfielder, and also Darcy Vesio. I think I said that right. And she's a full forward there as well. So it's pretty much like all forwards. I think there's only one defender and one real ruck picked up. Then for Collingwood, they picked up Moana Hope and Emma King. And Emma King's a ruck. She's the only like full ruck that they picked up in these marquee players, and Moana Hope is a sort of a small forward, I'll say, but still a forward. Yeah. Nonetheless, then as we continue, that's going to be a behind. The Bont is the only one really doing anything. We've got a Fremantle. They picked up Kiara Bowers and Cara Donnellan. GWS. Oh wait, no, I should say their position, shouldn't I? And they're both midfielders for the Dockers there. So Fremantle got a couple of midfielders as their marquee players. Then you go to GWS. They picked up Renee Forth, who's a midfielder, and Emma Swanson, also a midfielder. Dustin Martin with the "Do not argue with me, sir." Has a couple of bounces as well in the meantime. Could run all the way. Has 3 bounces. Oh, I should have kicked it earlier. Do you want to miss it though? Gee, unlucky. Bang. Get him. Oh, that's a splendid kick to Adcock. And then we go to Melbourne. They picked up two of the veterans of women's football, in Melissa Hickey and Daisy Pearce. So they're sort of a couple of the older players in women's football. Daisy Pearce has, been captain of the Stingrays for so many years. Oh no, of Durban. I was thinking Dandenong for whatever reason. They played together at Durban Falcons for many, many years, and Daisy's been the captain there since 2008. So Melbourne will be a big threat in this AFL season, or in the women's season. And then finally, the Western Bulldogs picked up Ali Blackburn, who's a midfielder, and Katie Brennan, the forward. So sort of a bit of a diversity there. There's a couple of defenders, couple of forwards, couple of midfielders. That's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting women's league. Then there's, I think, 180 players are going to get drafted in the draft in November to set up the season for next year, which is really good because the women's league sort of got fast-tracked. Wasn't meant to come in until 2020, came in much earlier than that, and it's been really good. Yeah. Just move so far back on the mark that you can then kick it to someone who is in front of the mark in Ben Griffiths, who's going to line up on the right boot and just to the right-hand side. Always looked right, didn't it? But yeah, we're going to win by 52 points. Get around us. And this is going to be a very, interesting finish to the season. Still haven't lost a game for the season. And we've had a couple of draws in there. I thought this one was going to be tight after that opening quarter was pretty close. But it just shows you the class that we have to finish off, and the polish just makes it get stuff done. So Tigers are going to get a win. Final quarter, siren is going to go now. But yeah, that's about it for today. Pretty much covered like round 23 and beyond. Definitely going to be interesting to see how that all goes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day. Until next time, I'll see you all later.